5 plus.
Welcome back to First Car Out. We got a good show for you guys today.
Right 5 plus,
It's
left
the
6 into
recap
small crest
from
into right
the
5.
Sweden predictions and look at the predictions and results from the WRC Kenya rounds. And then here in North America, we look at the upcoming ARA and NASA events that happening this spring and something to look forward to, as well as our discussion with the DS Rally 2 team.
Go.
So we'll do actually the 100 Acre Wood recap with them, and as we dig into the data and ask them some questions about what got them into the sport. So, segment time. We would call this driver team interviews, and we have Doug Rally, DS Rally 2.0's here.
Yeah,
You guys
so
wanna introduce
DS Rally
yourselves?
2.0 was a probably a late night decision on like, hey, what do we call this rally team? Anyway, I am Doug Shepard. I am not
Too far from the microphone.
I am.
It's because he's tall. He actually
I'm gonna get right on top of it.
There you go.
ASMR.
Doug
that's-
SMR.
Doug SMR. I'll
Anyway,
edit and post. So you are Doug B. Shepard.
correct. If
But
you're
we
looking,
call you Doug E. Shepard, not as in Doug space E, but as in Dougie. You're still Doug E. Shepard to me.
yeah, it
probably
depends.
a lot of other
Depends on how many. You know that if you
Depends on the
age,
era
the age
person.
of the age of person you're talking
Referring
to.
to.
That could mean either of us because
It's pretty funny.
I think Buffum calls him Dougie still. So that's
Aww.
that's how that goes. Anyway, yeah.
So enough of Doug's.
Oh, yeah. My name is Chris LeBaire. I'm the co-driver for DS Rally 2.0, at least for Little Dougie. Afraid of saying too much and then just it getting added to like a B-roll of like,
Americom Rally.
yeah, as you start, like,
Yeah. So yeah, my dad and I are kind of, we rebuilt one of his old Neons, and I probably did 85% of the work on it. This is minus cage, right? I'm not doing.
So what's the story with that shell?
This car was crashed at the X Games, where that was back when they had they did the like, I don't know, it was like 10
Stadium.
stages. They did 10 stages before the stadium final, right? So this was 06. This was the first year they did it, and they brought in a couple of the national two-wheel drive cars. It's basically an exhibition. Anyway, they're out driving in the mountains and roll the car and ball it up, right? Spent all weekend fixing it to get the stadium exposure, right? And then hit the gap jump that they did not know was a gap jump and just nose dove right into the landing ramp and basically buckled the entire front end of the engine up, or front end of the car up into the engine.
So you got a factory second that goes through motorsport history, and then you guys rebuild it.
Yep.
And you've been competing since with this car 2000 and
So 2023, we lined it up
What's the date
perfectly that we debuted the car 20 years after that VIN had made its first race at LSPR.
cool.
So they ran it in 03, they ran it starting in 03, crashed it in 06, and then it sat in our garage for 10 years, went up to TRF, got a cage. New shell came in. This was a
So you reshelled it.
reshelled it. Yep.
Okay, this isn't the same one.
It's all the running gear and equipment, basically powertrain, all that stuff. New shell. So then, rebuilt the car, and finally got it finished to go to LSPR last year, and we really did a heavy. Sorry, not last year, 2023. Did a heavy push getting everything finished. Had a powertrain issue that was a result of the roll. There was some damage. One of the cam sprockets had sheared off, so we lost timing. And
like a month before LSPR.
yeah, I had to rebuild the top half of the engine. It's not an interference engine, so there wasn't any significant damage. It was just replace the cam and stuff like that. But anyway,
When Dodge can DFMEA.
exactly.
Good. Unlike a Subaru.
Yeah, so we ran LSPR in 2023. Was the first event. Finished it.
My first time co-driving.
Yeah, Chris's first time co-driving, did very well. We were all weekend just we're going to finish this event and shake down the car, make sure everything's working properly.
So how'd you get bitten by the rally bug?
So, I feel like Colin McRae Rally 3 for the PS2.
2003, yeah.
Yeah, for the PS2. And was always watching it, Speed Vision and everything. And then freshman year of college at Michigan Tech, Doug lived down the hall from me. And I just remember running over to his roommate because I found out the Keweenaw Research Center in near the airport had a rally school. And then Doug, I just remember him looking over from his desk going, I know rally. And then instant friendship.
Yeah.
And then, just always looking at the wrecked car in the garage and
Drink beers at it.
yeah, just stand in the garage looking at the car, drinking 2 or 3 beers.
Use good engine hoist ballast.
Yeah, I spent like 3 hours when we were pulling the engine from the other shell, standing on the back of the cherry picker because we didn't extend the legs. So I just
It's a
stood
critical
there.
mistake, and then once you're loaded up, you just got to go with it till it's done.
Couldn't lose
right?
me. So
No. Was it pivotal?
And ballast
Was that
boy.
your first team activity, you would call it?
There was, and then I got roped into helping with snowdrift. So on sweep, and then moving on to social media and everything. And then we did a TSD rally. So there's some coaching happening in the background where I didn't jump into an event blind.
Yeah.
But
No, I made sure he knew how to read a route book before I let him.
And didn't get nauseous while riding?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
good.
Did you get nauseous?
No,
That's good.
I did once, but I think that was Zen's, not motion sickness, nicotine poisoning.
So you get bit by the rally bug.
Yeah.
You go to school with Doug. Then you do a TSD. You get comfortable, and then you're getting the car ready in parallel to go race LSPR for the 20th anniversary, and you guys do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will add to that. We spectated LSPR. I think it was either 2016 or 2017.
Both.
And on our way back into town, like after they ran the Friday National Forest stages, instead of going all the way out to 41, we took Menji Creek back, and instead of driving briskly in my personal vehicle, right, and then he was like, I want to do this.
There was. Can I add the other part of the story?
I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
go
stop
ahead.
you.
Yeah. So we were driving briskly. I giggled a lot, and then there's that one part on that route where you go onto tarmac for a second,
Oh yeah, down at the bottom of the hill where
and the car got squirrely, and my response was just to kind of brace myself and continue giggling.
yeah.
And I think that's what cemented me into a possible co-driver role.
Yeah. So yeah, so after that, I'm just looking at our brief history here as a team, and yeah, so LSPR ran well, did well. Went down to McCreary for NASA back in
Surprised
April
ourselves.
last year. Surprised ourselves.
That was a fun
and our
event.
competitors.
Yeah.
Wasn't running without a restrictor on the turbo, and really kind of getting a good feel for the car. With its full potential. Ended up winning two-wheel drive heavy, no thanks to some road blocking.
Who shall
Our gracious host.
Yeah.
I'm just glad I didn't have to push you out.
Oh, me
Yeah,
too.
I didn't want to get out of the car.
We
I
just
was gonna
sat
be in
there.
I was about ready to
I was
use
like,
the starter
well, I
motor
was
to
sitting.
crawl out of
I was
there.
sitting there. I'm like waiting. I'm like, well, he's got a rotary. He's just gonna clear it out. And he's gonna get going.
Yep.
I've been to this
I wish we had
before.
in-car audio with that.
Yeah, we did. But
Like,
yeah,
well, should I get out and push? I don't want to get my boots wet.
Yeah.
Nobody does.
But
Yeah.
anyway, so we got lucky because Chris Greenhouse broke a brake line and DNF'd.
Oh,
'cause
the last
he was going to
stage.
win.
The second to last
He
stage.
was going to win
Yeah,
overall.
He was going to win the rally overall, but we lucked into a gold medal for that one. A nice.
It was a good neon versus neon battle.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think he had our number, but we scared him on the first 2 stages. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Which is impressive. That, for those who don't know, that first set of stages is very
Wide,
fast.
yeah.
I think the
Wide
average
open.
speed is 70.
Yeah, it's
but
wrong.
70 is still
Yeah. Oh, it's fast.
Because what the fastest Anapoya stage from Finland with Meeks is like his average speed is like 72 miles an hour on that
Yeah.
stage.
Yeah, it's
And they don't do that anymore.
No.
Granted, that stage is like what
I mean,
17 miles,
The stage
not
is like
4?
the stage is like all 5s and 6s with like 1 or 2, like maybe
4s.
1 3 and like 2 4s. It's
Right.
so fast. Like
yeah,
Super fast, and then there are some high consequence like gotchas at the exits of the corners, like big boulders and like some trees that are like
River.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you always have that river. Great view. It's a beautiful stage.
Yeah. Great one to poop your pants on.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't
It's
know.
funny because you got to like go from 0 to 100 in the first like stages of the event.
Yeah,
You're like, you better be ready because
Yeah.
it's gonna test you.
my favorite memory was rolling into service and having Greg Healy walk up to me and be like, you can call or jump ahead in the start order. I'm like, what do you mean?
I tried to let you guys ahead of me, but you're like, no.
Dude,
But
we were maybe getting like 20 seconds on you a stage. It wasn't like
that's a lot.
We
but
weren't-
like, but
but
we
we
weren't.
weren't
You were
seeing
still.
another
You were
car.
still. You were leaving the finished control when we rolled up to it. So
Well,
it's not like
yeah.
we were in. Dust wasn't bad or anything like that. But
Grab a word. This will pretend it's a co-driver bag.
Yeah.
There's words here. Grab something, and you gotta tell a story based on the word.
ATC or FTC.
You got any stories that tickles your whistle?
Swapping helmets in an ATC at LSPR on day 2 because I plugged my helmet in
For
and I got
L's?
nothing. So L's.
Ooh.
And then we went and
I can-
finished 7th overall and nationally and like won the stage after we're panicking to get our equipment in.
I can expand upon this too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
All right.
I gotta
We'll
run.
cut Doug out. He's got a meeting.
by Douglas. Yeah, I won. I wrote the story down and I won that Subaru giveaway. From,
Rhiannon liked it.
Yeah, liked it.
Alright,
So
back.
yeah,
See,
that
Doug?
was day 2 for. So that was stage 11 at L's Playground, I think, at LSPR. And we had driven in. It was super cold because we had the summer thermostat in the car. So I was just like curled up in a ball for that like 50-minute transit because we couldn't get the car to heat up enough. Anyways,
Yeah.
so yeah, didn't think anything of it. We check in, and then I plug in my helmet, and then I hear Doug's intercom plug in, and then it's nothing, just dead.
It just gets quiet.
Yeah, and it's like I can't hear you. And then Doug's like, "Well, what about hand signals?" And it's like I remembered when we were prepping the year before, we had bought the same size helmet, the same helmets. So it's like, all right, well, we have transit intercoms. You take my helmet, I'll take yours, and I'll just hold the transit intercom.
And that was 23?
24.
24, okay. Oh, so that was this last year.
Sorry, 23 was
23
This
is-
happened in 24. Yes.
Okay, so
sorry.
that one was 24. All right.
My apologies on that.
No, you're good.
Lost my train of thought. Choo. Yeah, so we did all of that. So the whole time we're ripping on the stage, I am holding a transit intercom headset with one hand and then trying to flip through my notes with the other hand. And there was one where I'm screaming out the notes, and all of a sudden I'm like mid calling like a right 3, and I just happened to look up at that time, and it's a straightaway, and it's just, oh shit. Look back, pages had stuck together. Able to, and then it's like before we even got to the end of the straightaway, I was back on it and doing the notes. We roll into the finish control, and it's like, okay, that was good. We didn't lose any time. Not only that, we took another 10 or 15 seconds compared to the day 1 time out of the stage. So
That's
was
not something you should brag about as a co-driver.
What do you mean?
Because you skipped a page and he went faster.
I skipped a page, corrected my mistake, and we continued to go faster in light of technical difficulties.
That's a better way to say. We'll edit it in post.
I'm just saying we were going through it and we were able to recover. What is a sign of a good co-driver other than the ability to adapt and react to changing in situations?
Adapt, improvise, overcome. Don't throw up.
Yeah.
Don't make a
Don't
sickie
paint
in
the car. Yeah.
Yeah, that smell takes a while to leave.
Oh man, I was so afraid of getting sick at Iron Mule. That's where I was getting really bad.
The heat
The heat was bad.
is just
I made
stagnant heat.
So speaking of like co-driver failures. That whole last stage at Iron Mule, Doug drove blind because all I could do was sit straight up and look ahead, so I wouldn't paint the car.
This sounds like a red eye from Vegas. It just like
Or from New Orleans.
Yeah.
Of thinking of what I did to
focus and not throwing up because
yeah.
I'm a little out of it at the moment.
Yep. Yeah. Well, that and when we were waiting at the turnaround, Mike Wolf came up to me and was like, "Hey, how you doing?" And then like puts his hand on my arm weird, and Doug's like, "Get away from him!" Because Mike was checking my pulse because I looked that bad.
Yeah.
And he's like, "We're not getting medically DNF for this." I'm fine.
That's funny.
And then I started talking like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And you can see when people are worried about you.
That's when you knew? You're like, "Hey, Doug, am I all right?"
Yeah. Well, it was leading up to the end of end of that stage, and it was like he's like, "You're sounding off. Are you all right? Are you gonna throw up?" So.
But you didn't.
I did not.
That's good.
No, I kept it down. I also wasn't eating much. That could have been an issue.
Rally nervousness, yeah. Where's the fine line of I want to eat to have energy, but I don't want to be like shitting my pants.
Right, which is an issue because I leaned hard on the applesauce pouches.
You gave me one.
At
No, it's too much sugar. No, at Iron Mule. I still have it in the car. I don't think I've thrown it out.
It's still good.
I'm sure it is. It's mostly plastic.
Yeah. No, it's organic.
Okay.
So it's only the finest free-range plastic particles.
Oh, perfect. As long as it's organic plastic.
Organic plastic is stored in the balls.
Well, where else is it going to go?
My brain? No. It's more organic.
Exactly.
This is what we're about, is organic talk.
Grassroots.
Oh, I like it. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm
going to interview you. What's your favorite rally snack? Not to steal the ARA one.
Coffee. My favorite is coffee.
See?
Coffee and Subway. Because there's always Subway in any little podunk place.
Yep.
You can always get coffee. And if
problem-
I don't have enough food, I can always just have more coffee.
And my problem with coffee is sometimes it puts things in motion that cannot be stopped, and those porta potties, they can get worried sometimes.
You're a
about
princess pooper, aren't you? You're a Heimscheißer.
Are you gonna call me a hoverer
You're
now?
You're a home shitterer.
Oh no, I just poop in the woods. If I know how I am, so
Just
I can
checking.
avoid. But yeah.
Yeah. When they're in
Subway,
motion.
I like Subway. That's a good option. That's a TSB thing.
It's just they're just there. You
Convenient. You can normally control what you're getting to and avoid potential food poisonings.
That's
which
good.
Is what Subway also
avoid
do.
the mayo. Anyway, 100 Acre Wood. We did have, when I reported last, 65 entries, and we moved down to 56. So we had quite a lot drop. But it's been too long and I've forgotten. Who dropped?
I know Hooper dropped.
Two-wheel drive.
Retro.
That's what we have the big
Oh
ones.
yeah, the two Lexus.
Yeah.
So both Lexuses. So we're excited to see Richo be able to go to Open, which was going to be cool. And I don't think any of the Hooper vehicles made it.
No,
Cats
was there, and they
Cats
had
had
one of
one.
the limited.
Okay, so he was running the old. Brian was running the old.
He's got his cars. I think he got a fancy livery on there and all sorts of stuff.
Because they had to reshell it after
That's right.
one of the rallies this year or last year.
So we're down to 12 from 15.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I think that was going to add some spice to the mix. What, Hooper? He dropped out. Who else dropped out?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't even think Rich was on there for his.
Richo was Michelle because
Michelle did.
it was Michelle Miller, right?
Yeah, so she's an organized co-driver.
Yes, yeah. She did their withdrawal, and around the same time that Hooper did his. So.
Who else do we have on the
Samsonos?
withdrawal? Oh, Samsonas. All right, so that was the big one from two-wheel drives.
Yeah.
We lost Hooper, we lost Samsonas, and we lost
That's how you
Richo.
pronounce
So there you go.
Yeah. Anyway.
So that was it.
Only value I'm bringing to this episode.
No, that's good. We got to remember to look at that in the future.
Anyway,
only good for a
entry
week.
lists are boring.
Yeah, so that was nobody else really we care about left. I mean, limited stayed
Pretty consistent.
consistent. Open 4-wheel drive. There's some interesting there, but only during the event. Limited 4. That's not our big like. Oh, but okay.
But anyway, yeah, limited was interesting, right? So if you go back to limited real quick.
Limited
Oh,
2.
sorry, limited 4.
Limited 4.
Limited 2 don't exist no more.
So there were
Not to us.
3 Rally 3s on the entry list and a bunch of Subarus fighting for the scraps, essentially. All right, so
Yeah, that's kind of like the game now. It's like if you're in Limited 4, you're against people with money and a Rally 3 car and whatever Subaru you built.
yeah,
But, I mean, there's still... I see an Eclipse. There's still some old cars.
yeah.
The Evo.
Didn't make it to stage.
Chris Greenhouse is going to co-drive. Oh, I would like to have seen him.
That'd be interesting.
Because I watched them on Rally Safe, and they made it about like halfway to the stage 1 start, and then
Oh,
turned
no.
around and went back to service,
Yeah.
which was disappointing.
That's a big bummer. So you're right. Let's get into the event itself.
Oh,
That's the
sorry.
entry
Sorry, there were
list.
4 Rally 3 cars at 100 Acre. But,
Yeah, there should have been 5.
yeah.
Sorry. What's his name? Sorry, Roberto. Added that. in
Well,
post.
he was the Audi's at RC2.
That's a Rally 2. You said Rally 3, didn't you?
Yeah,
I meant Rally. I wasn't listening. Listening comprehension's not one of my strong.
Well, that's
points.
fine.
Where-
Let's start at like the limited.
Overall, or
Do you want to split it between regional overall? Or?
I don't really want to split regional and national because I don't think they should exist.
Yeah.
And that is a segment for another.
yeah, I think
Day.
I know of a
He's very opinionated on it.
He's-
I get it. It's fun watching people that are entered as regional be national people, but like at the same time, you're not competing for the same thing. So like,
yeah. Where it's two different,
but we don't have enough talent across all the classes because if you have 2 classes of 2, that would be a good shitty 1 class of 4. Honestly, like this is an outlier because of we had what
There's
4
big
Rally
entry.
2.
Yeah, this was
10. This is a big entry event, but if you get to Snowdrift and it's like 30, you're just in participation award.
Not to sidetrack because we're talking about 100 Acre.
We'll
but
edit
if
and
you go
post.
Well, I know, but it's still good conversation. If you go to the Olympus entry list,
All right,
it's like there's like 85 entries and like 20 of them are national.
really?
It's all West regional
because there's fewer.
because the people that are out west don't want to tow across the country for most of the.
That's a good point.
So 86. If you look, I swear it's probably up to 25 now.
Regional 58, national 28. So it's a 2 to 1.
It's gone up, but yeah,
It's 2 to 1.
yeah.
Well, let's look at then Snowdrift, for example. This is our outlier always. So regional 21, national 17. So that's almost 1 to 1. That's kind of what you would expect.
Yeah. Let's look at
4-wheel drive?
yeah, let's do the NA and limiteds just to see,
Because this is 20 cars.
So Nick Allen and Sean Donnelly are like the new
Yeah.
players in the at least for what appears to be the whole season in the Rally 3
I
cars.
did mention Ryan Rethy
Yep.
because he is a constant one in this area.
So yeah, you're talking the top
That's kind of the big ones.
buddy. No,
Hey,
we're-
buddy, guy.
Hey, I'm
We're
here
talking
for
about-
comedic relief.
We're
at
talking
this
about
point.
competitive classes.
Ooh.
But anyway, I thought this was an interesting class.
Liam McNeil's is the other Rally 3. So
Yeah,
how many Rally?
So
Let's
there were
highlight
4.
that.
So yeah, they
So
were
133.
133, and then Madeline Tabor is the other.
Yeah,
Rally
Tabor's
3.
down there.
But anyway, looking at
So
wasn't a
Clio.
ton interesting. I think it was the Renault.
It's
Donnelly and
to
the
see
Renault
it,
setting
yeah.
the pace for the whole weekend was I think the main story in the limited 4-wheel drive class.
yeah, okay. So stage 1, Sean Donnelly, Nick Allen, Ryan Rethy,
Yep.
and it kind of stays that way.
I mean, those 3 were basically the top 3 for most.
They're all just changing places throughout the whole weekend.
Yeah.
And then eventually Nick Allen just starts to just dominate on top of Sean. Like until the accident and Southern Loop stage 11. That stage is awesome. Well, no matter if you agree with me or not. Who crashed out?
The other, McNeil's.
That was a Fiesta that crashed in front of
Yeah.
Allen. Okay, because it was white, and I didn't, I should have done more homework for this. So, I mean, the big ones being the Renault and the Fiestas and the local. So, I mean, you do have the national guys battling for Ryan, but with Ryan's speed factor, like a 65, when is he going to move up to national?
That's the thing. You run 2 events a year.
There's a lot. I mean,
Why would you run national? Unless you're looking.
how
for,
many people run?
Unless you're looking for Pirelli contingency.
Ooh,
I didn't realize that one was not split between classes. That's just overall.
that's funny.
Yeah.
Well, because they're right. There's not enough talent in each of the class.
Yeah.
So pretty car wins. Local kicks ass. Nick has an incident, and then average speed in those stages that's pretty consistent. I mean, you're only talking 10 miles per hour between 17th and 1st.
Yeah.
Yeah.
10-mile-an-hour average is pretty significant. But
Yeah, that's true. These are all fast stages, though.
yeah.
60. This one looks like
Well, that's the one
that.
that's
They called
called.
that one because of the fire.
Yeah.
So this event was full of carnage and fire and confusion and tornadoes.
And hail.
I love interviewing about the weather at Park, but no one I think could have probably foreseen this one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Yeah.
seeing everyone posting like the morning after like the speed dimples on all their cars.
Yeah, so that's the bulk of it for
Yeah.
the 4-wheel drive. For shits and giggles,
Fun wheel drive.
let's
Just
see
kidding.
how open 4-wheel went. I only have one thing to say in this, and then
I had one note, and that's Connor Martell won a stage. But
he won a stage. He
Yeah,
won
he
stage 2.
It looked like Brandon had a problem on the first loop, though, and his car shut down before at the finish. So it
Really, still counts.
does. A win's a win.
A win is a win, and I predicted that Connor would not win any stage this event, and I'm happy to be wrong. But it's fun because he actually takes the lead in this. He
Yeah.
had enough gap to take the lead
Yeah.
until
The next stage.
the next stage where he lost first place, and now he then trails by 4 seconds, and then
And then
that
I think
continues
they
to
just
grow
continues
for
to
the whole
open up.
weekend.
Yep.
until when did that? Until he loses by 2 minutes. So that was fun. I mean,
The car looks great.
well, I mean, all things considered, they did have 7 cars in open 4-wheel drive. The Focus RS, just another shitty Ford.
Fix or
They circled the problem and highlighted it blue.
They-
You got to memorize that one.
fix it again, Tony.
Fix it again, Tony. Oh, but what happens
Speaking
as
of the
we
only GM product.
Yeah.
move to stage 6?
The other.
That is when the Ford drops out, I guess. When does the Ford drop out?
Well, he had an issue on the first stage, I think.
All right, so the Ford was plagued with problems from the start.
Yeah.
The Focus RS is, I mean, it's a good looking car, but it just doesn't. I'm sorry, the RS just isn't a rally car. I mean, if Team O'Neill couldn't figure it out, and they were basically had Ford Performance Engineering on site, and they couldn't uncrack the ECU.
I think that's part of the reason this is a.
Open instead of limited. I mean,
yeah, well,
you can
it's
do a
a-
Motec and you can do whatever you want at this point.
Well, yeah, and I think they just transplanted a different powertrain into it. I don't know that, but that's what I would assume.
Well, I think I got some homework then.
Yeah.
All right, so then
Anyway, don't quote me on that, but yeah,
and then we lose Morrow. So what happened to Morrow?
they had
He popped his motor, I thought.
some sort of.
It said
Head
some,
gasket, rod, or something. What
Engine
does
issue.
What does the note say?
I think it said engine.
mechanical engine permanent.
Yeah. So
The-
which I'm gonna blame that on spec fuel. If he was running pump gas, that LS would never die.
Yeah.
Pat.
There wasn't enough. There were enough twigs in the fuel for the LS to be happy.
Right.
Yeah.
It needs its fiber.
Yeah, it needs its little octane.
Pat, we're with you. We want you on pump gas.
Instagram commenters on all of the where they were talking about Pat's LS Sonic.
That was so funny. I even chimed in.
All the armchair mechanics like, why didn't you just use the LS Ford? It's like, because the LS Ford is terrible.
get the small block nerds in on this.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the best. I love starting those fights.
No,
So I think actually the Ford broke down, and then the heat soak caused something to catch
Yes.
fire.
They got it flat.
Not a breakdown. Flat.
they got flat, stopped, and then the turbo didn't have
I think
enough
it's
time
something
to cycle the oil through it. And
Yeah.
And it caught fire to grass.
I'm assuming something,
Oil.
something in the engine bay caught fire. I'm assuming it got to a point where they broke a seal or something like that. And started spitting oil. I don't know.
Oh, yikes!
Just-
That's a terrible
That's-
situation to be in.
it makes sense. Like one of the oil lines to the turbo probably started.
That's speculation, but that's just a thought.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, and then the open regional, the guy running, I think Fettle's old proto, Hartman.
okay,
It looked like Fettle's old proto. I don't know that for sure.
it could have been the 2010 Fiesta.
Yeah.
That fits
But,
the era.
He was running overall regional. He was running on the top.
Get to two-wheel drive.
Now the part that we're looking for. So yeah, the Open 2, they, I mean,
The Swedes.
Can I
Swedes, yeah.
amend Doug's comment? Fettle's old proto was a 2017,
Okay.
basing it
yeah,
off of Sneak
If
Attack
Sneak
entry
Attack
lists.
is wrong,
That's
then
fair.
God doesn't exist.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's a good point.
So
It could,
But it also could be a new shell.
it also could be a new shell.
And they could have just popped in a.
So all right, who are we gonna highlight? We want to highlight Mika, Calais, and
Hurst.
Hurst, yeah.
I think
Hurst stepped up the pace.
Nikkinen.
Nikkonen, yeah. I kept calling him
So
Nikkonen. I
yeah.
felt bad last one. I was like, oh shoot. I even asked what his name was pronounced and I forgot it.
Yeah, so
I was bummed about
Sear, 965.
Nicholson too.
Mika is fast, but has been prone to breaking down.
Yeah.
Brad Morris.
I mean,
Because that motor's been breathed on a little bit.
well, yeah,
right?
it looked
So-
like Brad was ripping this weekend. I think
Yeah.
Seamus was in the previous booth escort, so he didn't have his V8, so he was.
So I did hear when they had, we'll get to it, the accident, but the audio, I was like, that is definitely 4 cylinders. So
Yeah.
he was running Ryan's car?
Ryan's car from last year.
Oh, that actually has the 1.9 milling. No, it's well, yeah, Opel motor. It's a Millington. That thing screams. We saw that at Overmountain.
So anyway, yeah.
So that's
right
a
right off
big-
the gate, stage 1. So Micah was right on the ass of the Swedes in the.
They had the same first split.
Peugeot, yeah.
And so
first
in the
split.
second half of that stage, he only dropped a second and a half.
Yeah. So that's a
Wild
hell of a
close.
stage time
Yeah.
for Micah, and that would have been something to watch. But
So then what happened after that? Because Mika doesn't make it to the...
he had some sort of, I think he melted a cylinder is what I thought. Or melted
So
a
he
piston.
basically finished the stage and blew the motor.
Yeah.
So he was down a
I
second
think
from...
he might have gotten stage 2, might have blown it up on stage 2.
No, because look, it shows stage 1, and then he's gone.
No, he didn't finish. Yeah,
Yeah, because he didn't finish stage 2.
He didn't finish stage 2.
which that'll happen in those high power 4 cylinders.
You wouldn't know anything about that, would you?
Nah, nothing.
That's never happened to a Dodge motor before, would it?
Not since, not this one. I do have a piston with a hole in it somewhere in the garage, but that's from a Colt, I think. So late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
Anyway. So
Okay,
anyway,
so
yeah.
stage 2.
The Carlbergs.
Carlbergs
absolutely throwing the field under the bus.
So they won every stage.
Yep.
So an 85 speed. I wonder how much horsepower that car has.
It's a Rally 4, so it's the same as whatever the engine is in the Rally 3s. I think the only difference between Rally 3 and
So it's
Rally 4
not
is
high power.
No.
That's nothing
Geared,
crazy.
geared well for top of the line.
So once again, the
horsepower.
Europeans have reminded the Americans that we do not know how to race a rally car.
Correct.
Okay, so more evidence in that camp. Great.
We race for sport.
Yeah.
Ooh, we sure
Bringing
do.
it back.
It never went away, baby.
No, it's been the same. I mean, you think about it. Everyone that's racing here, except for 3 cars on the entry list, probably are.
Amateurs.
They're
Self-funded,
building
amateur.
shit in their garage, and that's what makes American rally so great.
That is true. Because
But it-
where else would you have a Lexus versus an AMC versus a BMW versus an Acura versus a Peugeot? They never sold here.
I will have to point out that
Missouri.
the top three, at least on this list, front wheel drive, front wheel drive, front wheel drive.
Yeah, you would. And which, honestly, for 100-acre wood, you'd expect the opposite. This is like wider, faster, flowier.
Yeah, I think when you look at the regional, though, I mean, Hurst really just,
Hurst turned up the wick.
yeah, he really did.
He knows that
it was
event,
a fight
though.
between Hurst and Katz for most of the weekend, and then can you turn off the national guys? I think yeah, there we go. So yeah, if you start stage one, I think did Hurst win every stage for the regional?
Levi beat him in the
Levi-
stage,
yeah,
a
Levi's-
couple stages.
Levi's always got a couple in him.
Levi's fast. I don't know.
He pulled one out.
Pull it up, Jamie.
Yeah, right.
Yep. On it.
Chris is on it. But anyway, so back to the so looking at the regional, so yeah,
Hurst really turned up the wick.
He was ripping.
I mean, to have that speed factor of like 62 and even like just in the 50-mile-an-hour speed range, like that's kind of the average speed
67, 68. I mean, these are fast stages, but he's got a lot of
he has a lot of power.
the 302, right?
But I mean, the last time I raced with him in 21 at this event, and we were trading times in a lot of places, and it wasn't. We were probably only a few mile per hour slower speed factor, average speed, both of us.
Yeah.
But and that was kind of like that was a good scattered kind of like mid pack. I mean, this thing was leading.
I think he finished third overall in the regional.
He did finish third overall, which, what other I didn't see any front wheel drive cars that didn't also have rear wheel drive attached to the car. But yeah, so
but
that was
that's
good.
Going back to your earlier point, where this event really does, which is surprising
power.
that the national teams with the front wheel drive are really putting the.
yeah, I mean, because look, if you look at the Integra,
I mean, they're
Gabriel. I mean, he's that's not that much slower of average speed, but to have such a
It's crazy how much
the speed factor just drops so fast at these stages. And
just means that the back of the field's going faster, right?
yeah, and it looked like it was a big battle between Levi and Brian.
Yeah.
Everything else everyone really kind of stayed in their lane. Like there wasn't much of
Yeah, because we're on 15 right now, and it's
Yeah.
it's Levi kind of pulled away towards the end there. He got up to he was up to like a 50-second lead almost, but
yeah.
it's a good fight.
I mean, it did last for a while. So
R.I.P. to the Ford Aspire for
yeah, it rolled.
getting shiny side down. Although I don't know on that car and no shade to Kyle, but
That thing had a struggle just getting to the start.
What's the shiny side on that car? I don't know.
No, I don't know what it is either. But
I was looking back at some of the history. I saw that I think it was either that car or it was a different Ford Aspire, but someone was racing one back in the late 2000s.
I did find out that he's open because he did a motor swap, so he's in a different. That puts him up a class.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least it looked like he actually.
It didn't do much damage to
No,
it.
they broke the windshield though. I don't think they got a replacement. Was he running any of the stages on Saturday?
Yeah.
Well, he got a.
Oh wait.
Well,
I thought he had a
hold
bogey.
on. There he is. Yeah, he's running. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, they did fix it. Okay, good.
I mean, man, a 55 mile an hour average speed in
I
that
don't-
thing, that's impressive.
Yeah,
That's
not
a
only-
tiny little car with a little motor.
Not only did he finish the rally, he rolled and finished the rally, which is that's an even more exclusive club than
That's
like
true.
just rolling a rally car, right?
Yeah, then there's rolling and rally car, rolling and making it to service, rolling and then finishing the rally.
Right. Technically.
Yeah.
Super
So
relevant.
that would be it for regional. But we look at this is the one event I would say I don't agree with combining limited and open.
That's
'cause
fair.
This
It's
is
huge power difference.
yeah. And if there's not enough competition, they should be mixed
Yeah.
together. But I do like the split
Yeah.
because it gives a lot of people an opportunity to get familiar with it. Because again, any open class, you just end up being who spends more money, and that's always kind of the
So I think if we look
problem.
at this, yeah. So if but if you look at the stage 2, if you go back real quick, the difference between split 1 and split 2, if you went to
Oh,
segment
yeah.
time, I do believe he actually was faster than the Swedes in a segment. Yes, it is. So, yeah.
Kinda.
And then we start going, and then Brad Morris really started, taking time out of people.
Yeah. Brad's always one to keep an eye on. He's usually very quick in general. So he's not competing with the regional guys like he is. He's one of those guys traveling and
Yep.
doing the national circuit. So
But yeah, so he was, if you're looking through stage 5 here, which is where we're at, he's up on Nick and him by 6 seconds.
yeah.
And then looks like he had a slow stage. Nick and him's back into second.
I mean, but Brad's kind of been staying in the top 5 every
Oh yeah,
every stage. He's in the top 5. Where
Yeah.
you see you're seeing a lot of Hurst and Nikkinen switch. Levi kind of sneaks in and out,
Yeah.
and then the rest kind of battle from 5 through 10,
Yep.
and they're just kind of moving around. And did Tim finish? It did finish.
Yeah.
That's good because I know that car is prone to problems. It's a cool car, but it always ends up having something. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know any LSPR that we've done with him where
The AMC's going to do AMC things.
Yeah.
Although I don't know anything about AMCs, so I can't.
they sound great.
They
The
do.
V8 is quite a good tone.
Is that a 360? Is that what the
Yeah.
MC? Yeah.
It's a 360 or 390. I think his is the 360.
Yeah.
It's the same block. The 360, the 390, the 400.
Yeah.
Because my buddies had bought that old SX4 Eagle, and that had
Oh,
the
yeah.
390 in it with the 4-wheel drive. It was a monster.
Love
All
that.
right.
Love hearing that.
So limited 2. This started off at 12 and then ended with 9. So that's quite a lot of DNFs.
Yeah.
But Sear, except for a couple stages,
Yeah.
he really did.
Whoa.
I think
So when's
those
Sear
were
gonna go to open?
flats
So go to what's that?
Where Sear dropped back. I think that was because he had flats on stage.
Michelin's, man.
I recall
He's on Michelin's?
a
Yeah.
post about.
I mean, TRF supports him.
So yeah, he's
Yeah.
on Michelin's.
Yeah, but no, it looked like it was between the Tabers and basically, solidly in second through the whole. If you want to cycle through overall stages here, and then
Tippin. What is that?
Tittman had that's a
Oh,
flyer.
That's a flyer.
Yeah.
He got probably Chris's time.
Something like that. I don't know. But running through, day 2, you just see, towards the end of day 1, day 2, Henry, the young Tabor, slowly catching back up, and then I think he got him on the last. He got his dad.
He got his dad on the last stage.
Yep.
That's good fun family battle.
overall
Yeah.
by 3 seconds.
Yeah, for 2 hours of racing to win by 3 seconds. That's pretty good racing.
Yeah, that's fun. That's a good
Yeah, yeah, we like seeing that.
Speaking of things I like seeing, I like the Beetle being on the.
Yeah, Super Beetle.
Heck yeah.
That I was kind of surprised by it to see this one of
Just
those.
sitting there, just doesn't drop off the list. But
Nope. For you to finish first you must finish. So what do you think? Is this Sears' last year in limited? Do you think he's going to do another year if he wins the championship in his class? Does it? Do you need to be a champion to run a rally school? He's definitely picked up the pace. If there's not enough competition for him through the rest of the year, he'll easily take that position.
and he finishes.
And he finishes.
Yeah.
That's the other caveat.
No, I'm curious because
It is a Ford. The odds are against him.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think, at least nationally, because again, Richo was running national L2 last year for basically the whole series, and they had a good battle that Richo ended up winning. And
You had Richo, Chris Sear, and
the Honda guys. Santiago just likes to play spoiler for 3 events a year, so
Yeah.
Points Vampire, I think he was
Points
called.
Vampire.
Points Vampire.
I believe it.
Yeah.
There's another person who should go into open, but he's too lazy to do anything to his car. He'll say that.
He works a lot.
He does. I don't envy his schedule.
Yeah.
But we digress. So limited 2, a lot of fun. Open 2, a lot of fun. Open 4, kind of the same. Limited 4, kind of scattered.
I think.
But lots of carnage.
I think the limited 4 is going to be the fun one throughout the year, because they still run LN4 as like a limited and naturally aspirated like combined championship
That's a good question.
for national.
I should know this.
I should know it too. I don't pay attention enough.
No, that's the problem with four-wheel drive.
Yeah.
I think it's just now L4 and that's it.
Yeah, because if you look at it in the...
Are there ever any national?
No, you can't NA for national. It would be
so
limited.
then they just simplified it. So
Yeah.
for national cars, you're either running an NA car that meets the rule set, or
Let's
you're
see.
running
NA4 regional.
Other
No, you can.
yeah.
I take that back.
I think they still combine the.
They still do
points.
combine them,
Yeah.
which will be more fun because it's like you have more open rules.
Yeah.
I think that's it for 100 Acre Wood. I think we beat that good. Okay, and then moving on to Rally North America. Don't have a whole lot of predictions when it comes to the West Coast events. So when we look at the entry list. Okay, so we look at this. We look at the entry list. You have Olympus Rally on April 12th, 13th, and then about a month later, you have the Oregon Trail Rally, and that's really the bulk of our West Coast events. Something to be interested in, that we have Travis Pastrana coming back, and he's actually in a limited car, so be curious to see him debut this at the Olympus Rally. It sounds like he wants some more competition, so it's not just a class of 3 people. If you look at the National, it's only 4 people in limited 4. I don't know why he didn't opt for a rally car too. I thought that would have been good, but considering the amount of entrants, so then you look at the Rally 2 car class, also 4. You really have, again, there's just not a lot of people going from the West Coast to the Central or Eastern regions. You really have a handful of cars are going to be doing the entire championship or going for it, from the open 4-wheel drive perspective. So the 2 factory Subarus and then Cameron. And sounds like they're going to be working to repair the Focus RS to combat them. Otherwise, you have 11 regional open 4-wheel drive cars. In general, you have 87 entries to the Olympus Rally. This one's on my bucket list. I'd like to do this one day, but I got to be able to do it in a way where you do Olympus and Oregon Trail. This would be fun. I mean, they're only a month apart. That seems to be the way to do it, because the time and money to tow across the country twice, it's going to be pretty rough. So, but it looks like Nikkinen is actually making the tow out there. So he's truly doing the national experience. So we wish him luck out there. We hope he kicks ass. Let's see, what do we got for the rest of open 2-wheel drive? Oh, Sean Johnston and Alex Chiarani. So they're going to be in the Peugeot. So we have the transplanted Americans in Europe coming back to play with us with a European car that they don't sell there, against Hooper, Seamus Burke, David Clark, although he's signed up for regional, unfortunately. But his M3 has been known to podium overall in that category. So really excited to see the David Clark Nikkinen battle, even though they're not in the same category, unfortunately. Julian Sabot, he's back again. Done making pizzas for now. Going to be kicking ass with Stephen Harrell. So excited to see them out in between the trees again. So that's it for the Olympus Rally. In between the Olympus Rally and the Oregon Trail Rally, we do have NASA Rally Sport. So down in Kentucky, during my birthday weekend, also during the Rally Canary Island for WRC, you have the McCreary Gravel Rally. Done this one the last 2 years in a row. Had some incidents, both of them, but I did manage to come back and finish last year, so I was happy for that. This is a great rally. It sounds like they have a shakeup this year. This was more or less, we called it the Goldilocks Rally. It's really divided into 3 legs. The first leg is too fast. The second leg is too rough. The third leg is just right. So interesting to see. Haven't seen the SUPs yet. That's a great one. If you haven't gone down to volunteer, do so, because there's really nowhere to spectate unless you're committed in staying in the woods. So it's not the easiest one to spectate, but it is a good one to volunteer. They're always clamoring for support and encourage you guys to go down there and help out, or at least compete. And another unique thing about that event is you can also do rally moto. So some of you guys out there on the dirt bikes, that's a great one to be able to try and do yourself. Now, I didn't cover the Sandblast Rally. Usually this one slips by me every year for whatever reason. It's just bad schedule for me, but I know I've been down there before. It's a good one. Let's look at the McCreary Gravel Rally entry list. You've got Greg Healy and Kevin Allen versus Nick Bragg. So that's going to be a good one when we look at the all-wheel drive classes. Adam Van Dan's bringing the Golf back down. So he's had a new build with his Audi TT with the diesel. So we'll see what he actually comes down with. Alex Larson has come back with the Civic. So that will be good. You know, he's switched to the side-by-sides lately. Alex is a good dude. Always good to see him. We're only sitting at 21 entrants, and about half of them are bikes. So more to come. We'll get some more entries on the McCreary Gravel Rally, but right now, really shy on the two-wheel drive cars. So hope to see it's going to be a good battle between Adam and Alex, definitely. So for Sweden, my predictions were pretty close. My 1, 2, 3 was Evans, Adrian Formeau, and Kalle Rovanperä, but wild card being Katsuta. I was right about Katsuta, though. However, my 1 through 2, 3 was a little off, but not too bad. I think this is the year for Evans. You know, he had a lot of dumb mistakes last year that I think kind of cost him the championship, and that was the same dumb mistakes equally that for Thierry Neuville ended up threatening his championship run. Real interesting for there. And WRC Sweden was a wrap, and they head to Kenya next. I don't really have a lot of major predictions. This is always kind of a wild card event in itself, and it's really, subject to the weather and, any number of things. What would you rather fight, silt or deep mud? You're basically two-tracking through, fields. I think anyone who remembers Revival of the Magnum Opus rally in the early mid-2000s, that had cars racing on basically that two tracks, real sandy, real silty, a hot August day. However, that doesn't, do well for the average rally car. And you can tell even, the $1 million professional cars still struggle to even finish. So really what I'm thinking, 1, 2, 3 is Toyota. What order? I don't know. Doesn't matter because the event's already been over with. WRC2 is going to have another heated battle. WRC Kenya. This is the Safari Rally before we head into the Canary Islands for a tarmac round, and ultimately kicks off more or less a spring-summer of gravel events. Which out of the gate, it's a strong performance from Evans. Oit really putting the pressure on Toyota. He's starting to, claiming first leading the rally in stage 3. You can tell all the drivers are really pushing. Everyone's really picking up the pace. Even Kalle is really staying in the top 3, and in the Fords, Jess McLaren doing real well, at the start of the event. Second day of the rally, Oit is leading for the most part, and Thierry and Takamoto are clawing their way back up to the top. However, Elfyn Evans does take first overall, which is exciting for him. He's just been on a tear and continue to do so. But Thierry has had some penalties, some issues, and it's kind of put him out of maybe the battle for the podium position. And Takamoto has really stepped up the pace. He's just on the heel of Oit, to get into the podium potential as kind of the Toyotas start to wrangle between first and third. And moving on, kind of the last day, Saturday, Elfyn Evans really has then kind of taken back the lead from Oit. Thierry's back up into podium contention, but Katsuta does not want him to hold that for long, and he's constantly battling him. So Takamoto ended up, he's probably going to be consistently my wild card. You never know with Taka. He's had some moments, and he was pushing to kind of take the podium position away from Thierry Neuville, and ultimately he did not finish the rally and broke down on the transit section back to MTC. So that's a big kind of a bummer there. If we look at WRC2, it's really kind of, you're looking at four main people. It's Katen Katanowicz, Oliver Solberg, and Jan Solans. Well, actually Gus Greensmith as well. So those are the real kind of four big ones that we have in the WRC2. Oliver Solberg is doing really well at the kind of the start of the rally, and it's a lot of kind of trading places between Gus Greensmith and Jan Solans. Oliver Solberg was high centered, so he got to getting swept during the event, which was an unfortunate way for his former teammate Gus Greensmith to overtake him for the lead. But that's rally, as we say. But that's it for WRC Kenya. And if anyone else out there listening, if you're a WRC fan and you want to talk WRC, I don't want to make this a monologue. I'd rather make this a discussion of trade opinions, things like that. So I hope to encourage some of you guys to come out and we can talk WRC. Otherwise, I'm just talking to myself, which I already do. So I don't need more of that. But thanks for joining us. Next time, please write in. We can revisit maybe an interesting topic or some rule change ideas that you might have been mustering about. Let me know. Drop me a line. My email here is firstcarout@gmail.com. If anyone wants to chat WRC, I'd like to make it a bit more of a discussion than a monologue. So let me know. Let's start our own discussion and see where it goes. Next time, we'll maybe look at a different team to interview and see the results from the MGR and Olympus rally. Until next time, this has been First Car Out, and remember, do one thing a day.
Overcrest into right 5 plus. Right 5 plus, left 6 into small crest into right 5.
Ready?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.